Welcome back to a corporate time. Our friend Moe Dewitt's here. How you doing, Mo?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Good. So Mo, we've had lengthy meetings here at TV Media.
meetings.
About an event that we want to do. Just to give you a background.
You're jumping right into this.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Hey, great. I'm glad. My Mountain Dew's kicking in. Let's do it.
We have this guy, Pervert Pete. He's a YouTube
he's a
sensation.
Don't let the name fool you.
He's
a
really a
fine
nice
gentleman.
guy.
He used to be
I mean,
Omega Pete, then he was Gary Gabagool, then he changed his name to Pervert Pete. He was actually demonetized and deleted yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Again?
Yeah.
YouTube out to get him.
They keep shutting him down.
Yeah, he's screaming sovereign citizen at the YouTube.
So he gets in a fight with Tuttle. You're familiar.
You're familiar with Tuttle, of course.
I know you like to. I know you like to party with Tuds.
And I wouldn't go that far.
I know we like your brand to be associated with all things Tuttle.
And then they're fighting, and then we brought up a boxing match, and then Pervert Pete said he's down.
And he'll fly down. He'll beat the brakes off of Tuttle.
Tuttle said So then I saw money sign. Mo.
Where'd you see the money sign?
In his eyeballs, like a
I
cartoon.
looked at the sun. And so I'm like, man, this is what we need to do.
This is what
the
we
90s
need.
should be back.
We needed like a shot in the arm. We were looking for that next big event for 2023. You know, everybody's like, what are you guys going to do for the new year? Normally, we have tons of planning meetings. We come out with like a budget. We get all of our event. But we didn't see this one coming. We didn't see the Pervert Pete versus Tuttle. I was wanting to call it Bash at the Beach.
Oh, yeah.
We take it back to we do it like we do it like Salty Sisters.
Yeah, they got like a back patio. Right?
Yeah, we do it there.
So, long story short, I mean, then we can get the undercards. You know, we can get the cast of characters on our team in there.
Yeah,
they're fighting each other.
A couple of ladies matches.
Of course,
the fellas love that.
Keep it classy.
Yeah, we had a little throwback action.
Yeah. We get the Just Call Mo VIP lounge.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Just Call Mo VIP hookah lounge.
Okay,
Oh,
Real
Hookah's
classy.
coming back.
Yeah, it's the Moe Dewitt and Purple Ringer hookah lounge.
Yeah, we bring in the big hookah ceramic.
Big hookah.
Anyway, so my question to you
Hookah fall on you, injured on the go.
because I'm not an idiot, Mo. I understand the
I
law.
think he's thinking you're an idiot right now. I'm looking at Mo and it's reading you're idiot.
I don't know that you do understand the law.
I know insurance and the law.
By the way, every person that's ever told me they're not an idiot, 100% an idiot.
Yeah, 'cause you don't have to say it.
Only idiots have ever told every intern that I had that's like, Dan, I'm not an idiot. No, you were an idiot. That's why I hated you. You were an idiot.
Because I know what everybody that's listening to this is like, this is an insurance nightmare. But I've been around this enough to know that if you get the bigger size gloves, you get like a professional referee, you make the rounds 1 minute.
We'll have medical. We have Canadian Josh, who is I believe I don't really know
fly
that.
him in
Honestly,
too?
He's a Canadian ambulance driver.
He says he's an ambulance driver. I've met him 6 times.
Yeah.
He could be a psycho. I have no idea, but he says he's an ambulance.
As long as he says it.
Yeah. Well, he's got the things.
He's got
the
Canadian medical training.
He's got a stethoscope and he's got all the stuff.
You're gonna have to wait though.
Exactly.
He'll give you CPR, but it's gonna take 2 hours.
He has to put his brown face on first before he performs the CPR.
God.
Justin Trudeau, take that.
So if you get the bigger gloves and you get the medical staff on the side and like the other stuff, insurance will underwrite it. Right?
Okay.
I get Blanchard, and they're like,
Have you talked to Jamie from Blanchard?
Not yet. Yeah.
Sam, put in an email.
But I
Put in
know
an email to Jamie. No, go straight to the top. Go to Mike.
When we had our wrestling insured, when we did our '90s radio
Yeah,
event,
you didn't want to do that.
I didn't want to. I said let it fly.
That was the 11th
Let it
hour
fly.
decision. We
Yeah.
bought the insurance, and then this guy
because
had
Bushy used to tell me, he's like, don't get insurance, it's stupid, just gamble on it.
Every bar owner and Bushy has always told us never get insurance.
Yeah.
But we
And where are they today?
a lot
I think
of them
they're
are-
rich.
Yeah, a lot of them are
I
rich.
think they're rich.
A lot of them are rich. Yeah, they're rich.
Proven wrong again.
So
Bushy's
anyway,
in solar though, and that could either be rich or not rich. I don't know.
So, long question short, if I get insurance and they agree to insure a boxing match at Salty Sisters or wherever we do it, probably there because Tiffany will agree, thinking that
you're
we
gonna
know
get her
her.
restaurant shut down within the year.
Well, I was going to do a hardcore match inside the dining room.
So, but if we get the insurance, then are we covered if like Tuttle does get some sort of brain damage? Or
What if Pyro Pete? What if Pervert Pete Why do I call him Pyro Pete?
Yeah. He
don't
hits
know.
Tuttle like
Wait a minute,
I don't know who this
Pyro
guy
Pete
is.
was the guy we used to work for with Orlando City. We have too many crazy characters.
Yeah,
what if Pervert Pete, one punch hits Tuttle?
Yeah.
Tuttle falls to the side. He hits his head on one of the novelty Jimmy Buffett style, wooden. It's one of those signs that says, Daytona Beach, 63 miles, Disney. It's one of those. The corner of the sign that says Bahamas, 387 miles. It hits Pervert Pete right in the corner of his temple.
Tuttle.
Or hits Tuttle right in the corner of his big fat temple, and it just instantly dead. Killed. Instantly killed.
Well, I'm smart enough to know that if you die, it's actually
better
than
paralyzed.
if you get some sort of long-term thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the medical bills.
And then his mom has to take care of him.
Yeah.
That is so tragic.
But then they just sue our insurance because I was like, listen, insurance insured us, so that's on them. So are we good as long as we get insurance for stuff?
Well, the insurance would cover up to the policy limits, but since he's a participant in the match, you're probably going to have him sign a release of some kind, basically saying he understands the inherent risks of this ridiculous boxing match.
That's what you made me do. I have a true story to tell. I have to say this in front of Moe to clear my conscience.
Yeah.
You had me do that at our wrestling match. You had me run around like a little monkey and have all these wrestlers sign
their life away.
Sign the waivers. And then I hadn't used that bag since we went out to the Hoarder House, and I looked in there. They're still in there. 5 years later, every single, and they're all crumpled and dirty, and there's beer all over. But I kept them. I filed them.
That wouldn't have protected us.
No, it wouldn't.
But
I think I had them in the backpack like a bug out bag.
I've always heard that releases and those kind of things are kind of meaningless, and the fact that they can still get sued.
Yeah, is that true?
Well, it depends how well it's written. So, like, a lot of people print them out offline. A lot of those ones are meaningless. But if you actually get one that's
what
well
we did.
It can help you a lot. It's not, nothing's foolproof. Nothing's 100%, but it can help you a lot and kind of limit the potential claims.
I think we got ours from like a Word doc.
And I guess
it was like, I think it was like
probably. That's where most people get them from.
I guess, and also if you can show that you did everything that you said you were going to do, insurance-wise, and you weren't negligent, like, for instance, you start dumping slippery oil or you put some sort of...
we were going to do coleslaw, right?
But you put some sort of thing in the ring that's not supposed to be there, and they do hit their head. Like, when you go above and beyond what you say you're going to do, then all of a sudden now you're liable. But if you stick to the plan, that helps you more, right?
Yeah, because the whole idea of a waiver is basically you understand what you're getting yourself into, and you're waiving any liability from that specific event. So, like, we have a case right now where it involved an auto mechanic, and basically the guy signed a waiver saying basically, like, hey, if my car is parked in your garage and the place burns down or something, I'll put the claim through my insurance. Well, the mechanic took his car out for a quote-unquote test drive and totaled the thing going like 90 miles an hour.
Oh, my God.
So,
I knew they did that.
Yeah.
I had to test it, bro.
And so they're saying, oh, no, you have to make a claim with your insurance. We're not liable for it because you signed this waiver. And we argued, no, the waiver didn't cover that. It wasn't contemplated by the waiver. So therefore, we got the waiver thrown out in that scenario. But like what you're saying is, if they have a boxing match and then you turn it into a wrestling match with coleslaw, that may not be contemplated by the waiver. You have to kind of contemplate what the event is and what they're waiving their rights to.
So really, this doesn't cover what he's describing. Kind of ties into something you and I talked about yesterday. Tom considers a lot of his stunting improvisational stunts. Based on what you're telling me, if you've signed a waiver, this does not give any wiggle room for improvisational stunting. Because when you're agreeing, and you got to stay by the book. You cannot go rogue. You cannot go off script.
Oh,
sorry to break
Tom
this to
hates
you.
Scripts.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know that if what Moe is telling me is true, you, sir, need to tighten up.
Well, it just shows that all those stunts I've done with iHeart or Clear Channel and Live Nation or whatever, it never listed any. It was just the standard. It was the one that the monster truck driver signed.
Yeah.
Like, it had nothing to do with me jumping some homemade
ramp. It was just
ramp
for being on the field, I believe.
Which is still amazing they take that chance. Like, you'll all be fired if I die. And I could, easy.
But you would be so remembered, man. Think about that.
I wish I
did
that.
Famous.
Oh, wow.
If you had been on this show at the time, I would be a more famous podcaster right
There'd
now.
be a bunch of documentaries about it. It would Real radio wouldn't exist anymore.
You think? Yeah, it would have shut down the station.
Oh, they come down and be like, this guy, but he's dead, and my wife is crying.
Flip the station
on the news.
2 Roombas.
Because I told her, I was like, if I die, cry on the news. They'll give you money. Anyway, all right, Mo.
What questions do we have?
Yeah, what do we got, Sam? I know.
All right, so
Sam just looked at us like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh no,
I thought you were going to go.
Resume. What have we done?
We typically do all of your questions first, so I just wasn't sure.
Oh, I got more.
I know you had me also write down about your obstacle course. That.
Okay. Let me ask that.
I can help a
that's
little
why
bit.
I was a little shocked.
I go over to Tom's house and I see my daughter playing in the trees at his house, and I'm like, "Well, that's weird." And in between his 2 largest oaks in the front of his dwelling, with no fence whatsoever, he has built a redneck ninja warrior strap course with
you
got like the Goonies booby traps over there.
And you got the tiny you got to do the little
like zip line,
the ring where you have to inch down. You got like 1 zip line. You got what else do you have?
There's the rings and like a knot that you hold on to.
Yep. There's
the old knot.
Yeah, there's the knot. There's the rings. But it's ratchet strapped between these two trees.
Yeah. And it's still there. I went out of town and I left it there. But it's so
the raccoons are going to take over.
The raccoons right now are like,
they're getting strong.
Yeah, he must like us. He has engineered a new thing for us to stand on. A pooping post.
Now, it would be hard for small kids to jump up there. Like, my kids need a ladder to get up there. Adults could do it. So it's in the front of my yard.
I mean, when I was a little kid, though, I was not above dragging a dude, I needed it.
Now,
Dude, I was a ladder dragging. I was the littlest
or stack
kid.
Things.
But if I wanted to get on the damn roof, I would get on the roof all the time. I just get a ladder, put it on the, just go.
Yeah, I would climb on roofs all the time.
All the time.
Now, I've always heard, because I know the law, that
he's doing it.
I know my rights.
We just talked about this.
There's a thing called an attractive nuisance.
Yep.
And
some say, I say every time I set foot in a bar, I'm an attractive nuisance.
And I've heard the urban legends of the
Does that mean black legends?
that have the half pipe in the front of the yard or some sort of playground or above ground pool or whatever.
Yeah. Diving boards.
Diving boards.
And then there's no fence around or whatever. And then the neighborhood
What about
kids,
what about a bobcat with like its keys dangling in it, with a shiny keychain?
And then if someone walks onto your property and then starts just skating the half pipe and falls down, they're like, I'm going to sue you.
Yeah. This is my house now. You shouldn't have had your...
And then you can get sued because then they're like attractive nuisance. You shouldn't have. It attracted these people to on your property, and they hurt themselves. It's your fault. And I was like, is anybody really going to do that? Like, is someone going to go to my yard and then jump up on my Ninja Warrior course, hurt themselves, and then be like, it's your fault you put this here?
It was a free ninja course.
And then because I'll be like, it's your fault. Why'd you do this? You're my property. You're an idiot.
You're also the guy, God, I hate to contradict you every single thing you say, but you're also the guy that said that your sons are allowed to lay in everybody's yard, do angels, run around.
But I wouldn't sue them. If they laid in some ants.
Yeah, but you just said you're on my property. I just wanted to point out that I thought you said the front yard is everyone's property. It's God's grass.
Well, I don't. If someone gets up there, swings around, falls on their head, and just hobbles off back to their house, so that's fine with me. That's you decided to do that.
Maybe you should put a sign that says that. If you fall and hobble yourself now, it's
land on your head at your own risk.
Would that work? Would a sign like that work?
It helps, but it's not. Anytime you're dealing with kids, the law kind of assumes kids are not the brightest. So when you have something that looks fun and they venture on your property to play with it, you can be held liable for that, even if you have signs. You're supposed to have
he don't have any
safety
signs.
Precautions like gates and fences and stuff like that. So, it could be a risk there.
What happened to the stay in your own property? Get off my lawn.
To go back, you said this again. It goes against everything you tell your sons.
No, well,
you tell your sons run through everyone's yard, cartwheel through everyone's yard. Sam hates
your own risk.
Look, Sam thinks it's the most disrespectful thing you've ever said because I see your face and you're talking about your sons doing snow angels and a guy that literally spent thousands of dollars on sod. He gets out there with literal scissors cutting
his. No one spends that much money in my neighborhood.
That might be true.
100%.
I cannot argue that. And he shut me down.
Also, I'd never sue or be mad at anybody if my sons hurt themselves.
But also,
that's on them.
Don't know that. But people don't know that is my point.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
they don't.
tell
When they
them, I'll
look
screw-
out,
I'll be like, don't worry.
I'm not gonna sue you.
yeah. They know by my demeanor that I'm easygoing. I'm not suing
Yeah,
anyone.
this guy, wait a minute. He doesn't have shoes on and he's standing on some sort of future foot board. He won't sue. We're fine.
So I could get sued if someone falls or hurts themselves.
This is America. We can sue anyone for any reason
Oh,
at any time.
God.
And it's like a real Ninja Warrior because underneath is all jiggy-jaggy roots. I mean, killable murder roots. Jiggy-jaggy. You know, like the weapon that
should keep you out.
The shillelagh, the weapon of choice of most Irish people is a stick with a knot on it that they will literally kill you with. And that's what it's like, landing into a pile of shillelaghs.
That should keep you out of there because you should be like, hey, if I fall off this thing,
It's going to hurt.
I'm going to land in the roots.
And then the other thing he had laying in his yard, I wasn't going to bring this up. I don't know if you were, but you have those inflatable murder balls that you guys used at the Solar Bears
yeah,
game.
that's still out there.
Sam, did you know that they have kid versions of those? And they just set them underneath the Ninja Warrior course. So it's like saying, well, if the Ninja Warrior course isn't enough of an attractive nuisance, let's add more toys to lure. It looks like you're trying to lure children into your yard.
You know, normally I exaggerate a little
bit.
I am going to have to call Crystal and tell her to take it down because it's out there.
Well, I'm not joking.
You're gonna make her take it
I'm
down?
not joking about all of that. All
Well,
of that is out there. What if
this
a
is
homeless
where
guy
actually-
came by and saw it? He's like, that
Yeah,
looks goddamn fun.
Because I feel like just by talking about it, so one of our listeners is going to go out there and,
on
and then hurt themselves
Yeah.
out and try to sue me because, I mean, it's right
Thank you
there.
for all your podcast money.
You can almost jump from the sidewalk.
Oh my god.
You can.
You know what? That's
You don't
the
even have to
challenge.
actually step
That's
on my
the
yard.
Ninja
You-
challenge. If you could,
yeah, and you can jump up there from the
you
sidewalk.
could jump to it and then land on one of the murder balls and then get to the roof. You almost might be able to.
And then put a diving board on your roof. It'll be fine.
What if you just leaned in and made it crazy?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take it down because
He's being serious
I
now.
purposely didn't bring it up because I thought I better take it down before I
You
bring it up.
told me to write it down to ask
Yeah,
Mo.
but
it-
that
it-
was I
yeah.
was planning on taking it down, then asking him because it was funny. But now that it's real,
The other thing I have written down is Studimo. Did we want to call it the Studimo?
Yeah, do you want this to be called the Studimo?
yeah.
I don't know about that.
The Studimo.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll scratch
we
that
got the
one
vinyl coming.
out. Okay.
It's all,
I'll have to
okay.
call about
What
the
do we got?
Studimo vinyl and
so-
change it up real fast.
In the BDM group, we have a few questions. Are two-party consent laws with regards to phone calls only prosecutorial in the offending state?
Ooh, prosecutorial is
For
good.
example, if someone in a single-party consent state records a conversation with someone in a two-party consent state, is there anything actionable if it wasn't announced and was used on social media /YouTube/broadcast?
I mean, it's a good question. It'd be a jurisdictional question. I would guess if they know they're calling to another state, basically our laws are going to control for that call. So you'd have to prosecute them in Florida because we're a two-party consent state. So yeah, you could bring an action here for it if they didn't disclose that it was being recorded.
But
Did
no,
they give you any more
That was it.
meat than that?
No.
What are they talking about, I wonder?
I
Yeah,
have
it's very, very intricate question.
It sounds
there.
pretty specific.
Yeah.
Okay, me and Daniel have worked in broadcasting for.
Yeah, we're the best.
I mean, what would you say? I mean, I started my interning.
I
at
guess I have to
2003.
say 25 years at this point.
So I started
Which
interning.
really I hate saying because it makes me feel like an old bag of D's.
Yeah, it's been like next year will be 20 years since I started interning.
Well, then I'm more than 25.
Yeah. It's more than that.
Oh my God, I'm like
Yeah,
30.
yeah.
Oh, man.
So in
My
all
God,
our
I'm Jim
years
Phillips at this point.
of doing this, I have never ever heard of anybody getting in trouble beyond like we were talking about. Like I feel like all the wiretapping laws and stuff were written for like mafia members and the government and the FBI.
I
It's
think
like-
the majority of
like,
them were, but there are like prank call people that like to do
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I've
That's
had a
if you're-
couple of those people tell me don't use that,
Yeah.
or I'll come after you.
Well,
Right.
if you're the Jerky Boys, you're recording them and
Right.
you're selling the audio
Right, that's
tape and you're
different.
making millions and you're like, I never even signed a consent form. But I'm talking about the regular having someone's voice on the radio, recording someone's voice, because the law is written for not even on the radio or just like person to person. You're not allowed to record someone's voice.
Yeah.
Never heard anybody getting in trouble with that. Like, what are you, Ray Liotta? Like you're like, no one cares.
R.I.P. Yeah.
No, the police
He's
don't
only
care.
got two references: King Tut and Ray Liotta. That's it. That's
It's
all
like
you get.
it's like gambling. Like, yeah, technically it's illegal. No one cares.
Yeah. I think that it was probably made for those type of instances.
Yeah,
And Mo, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but it feels like this law was written for civil cases where people that were married at some point would start recording each other and like all of that Mel Gibson stuff and all that, the stuff. I love those Mel Gibson tapes, by the way. I listen to them at least once a year because they're that funny. Yeah. But it feels like it's written for that. It feels like there are people that are nasty and want to
Yeah, it's an informed consent kind of thing. You want both sides to be aware that they're being recorded, essentially, if it's supposed to be a private conversation. But you're right. I mean, it's very rarely prosecuted. I can't think of any case that I know of that's been prosecuted that I can think of off the top of my head, at least.
It seems like it's mainly used for, or it can't be used as evidence if it's in a state. So if you record someone and they are telling you something and they don't know, and you can't use that in the court of law because it was recorded illegally. So it's not like the person's going to get prosecuted for it. It's like you can't use this piece of evidence because the
it was
other
obtained
person
illegally. Yeah, the evidence can't come into court for whatever case you have or whatever you're trying to prosecute, but that evidence is going to stay out.
Yeah, so that's what it seems like this whole thing is about. And it's odd that it's mainly focused towards audio. Video, it seems you could put it out there. If people are going to videotape each other without the audio, a lot easier than recording audio, and that's odd.
Well, I think it was just a matter of when the law was created. Audio was much more prevalent at that time. There wasn't video cameras everywhere. Obviously, now with video cameras everywhere, and a lot of those cameras, or most of them now, have audio built in. So it's kind of changed, the intent of the law in that manner, but it just wasn't, a lot of times we get that. These laws are created, and then technology evolves, and the technology far supersedes what the law was created for.
Yeah. Mo, have you seen that? I'm sure you have.
Nope, I haven't seen anything.
And where technology is progressing so fast, obviously the government can't keep up, and there are new things that weren't even imagined 10 years ago.
Drones
that are coming out that the law is trying to keep up.
Phones and drones, really.
But our system's built so it's hard to change laws, and it's hard to get new laws in there, which is good in our freedom's sake, but bad in trying to stop or make things illegal that probably should be. But technology is so fast that they can't even keep up. Yeah. So I'm sure it happens with even personal injury cases and things like.
Yeah, I mean, it happens across the board with all sorts of stuff. Somebody gets an idea, it goes out there, they push it, and then it takes them a couple of years to get a law to pass to take it all down. There was the mugshot thing. Remember, there was a whole industry created of posting people's mugshots, even if they were just arrested and found not guilty. Or
right.
I just
it's like a blackmail thing.
Yeah, it was a blackmail thing. You had to pay them like $1,000 or something to take the mugshots down, and I think they finally made that illegal, at least in the state of Florida. There was the revenge porn laws. It took them a long time to get those laws in place.
That was a sweet spot. There was a sweet spot. Oh man, golden age, the golden age.
So what else questions do we have? Sam?
We have. Is it possible to win a lawsuit against a dental provider for the cost of having...
Win anything, Sam.
All right, I like that.
All right, so should I just... yes, you can.
So is it possible to win what?
For the cost of having a tooth pulled and replaced. In this situation, the dentist admitted that he didn't advise you that you needed a follow-up procedure for a treatment they provided, causing your tooth, a primary chewing tooth, to crack. The dentist then refunded the cost of the initial treatment.
That's my primary chewing tooth.
God damn. Don't tell me you're going to be yanking. You yanking my A number one.
That's my number one chewer.
That's my goddamn meat grinder you're taking out of there. I call that's my Cuisinart.
I need that chewing tooth.
Don't take my chewing. You can take any of the ones that are in there, just my looking teeth. Don't be taking my using teeth.
All the front ones are... Get rid of those.
Anyway, loved you on the monsters there.
It looks like the dentist refunded the cost of the initial treatment, but is not willing to pay for the cracked tooth now.
Oh,
so, man. I mean, it's dental malpractice. It's just like medical malpractice, but for dentists, and you have to show that they breach the standard of care for
not
that
doctors.
industry.
Dentists are not doctors.
You're an anti-dentite.
Yeah, I am. I'm a...
Malpractice is hard. That's a hard thing to go into, right?
It is, and it can be expensive. I mean, oftentimes it is worthwhile to pursue if there was, actual malpractice. But you can have a doctor that's less than, careful that may not rise to the level of malpractice. So something may have gone wrong with the surgery. It may not have gone to plan, but it may not be malpractice. And that's where it becomes tough a lot of times is we'll get people who call us and say, yeah, I'm having these horrible complications from this surgery, but those are just complications that were contemplated, and maybe they're rare, but it's not malpractice. You have to show
Because
that
you're
the
weak.
actual-
Your body is weak. It's not my fault.
It's got to be egregious to be malpractice for the most part, right?
Right, and so as part of medical malpractice in the state of Florida, you actually have to hire another doctor who specializes in the same field, whether it's pediatrics or orthopedics, and have them sign an affidavit that says, based on my review of the medical records, this doctor breached the standard of care and basically committed malpractice. And you have to do that before you can even start the case. So, it is a difficult standard to jump over that hurdle to start a medical malpractice case. There has to be real malpractice there.
I have one last question for you, Mo. The how many video cameras are in people's cars nowadays? And now Daniel's Tesla records how fast you're driving. It basically takes a record of all the stuff. So if he is in an accident,
And I will be.
do you find?
Thank you for supporting us, Dan.
Yeah.
Have you been involved
Just call Mo.
with cases that now you can show the vehicles, how fast they were going, a video from inside the vehicle?
The telemetry.
You start using that extra evidence to show that either the person was negligent or driving perfectly safely, and then the other person was
Yeah, I mean, on the Tesla specifically, it's pretty cool because you can basically do almost like a 360 view of the video. I have a few of them, and we've actually done some online videos with them where, you can see the whole accident happen, the person not paying attention, smash into the other person, the aftermath when they pull over. It's a pretty cool video to actually see.
And that helps you with your case. And
Yeah.
it
It
helps
might
that
hurt me if there's video of me not paying attention.
Just taking a nap. Whoa,
Can you not
vape
submit-
pen crazy as I'm mowing through a fruit stand?
So say someone's suing Daniel, and can he go and delete that video from
I'll
his car?
drive my car into a ravine like that crazy radiologist did.
Because we've been taught
Not
to do
with
that on
Maisie. I will not
radio.
have Maisie and Andrea in the car. I will drive my Tesla into a ravine like that radiologist did.
So can you delete? Is that you're deleting evidence from a lawsuit?
I've done
Is
that before
illegal?
too. I've done that for Clear Channel. I deleted all the tapes for EdTel. I've deleted others that I can't speak of because I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I'm flying close to the
burn
sun.
the
I don't
tapes.
care anymore. I'm almost 50 years old and my weenie doesn't work.
No, that's spoliation of evidence. You can get in trouble for that. So if you,
Okay.
But not if they don't know.
Yeah, you can just be like, I don't know what happened to it. The Tesla's
It's
crazy.
a flash drive crapped out.
mind
What do
of
you-
its own.
Yeah, what do you want me to do? I'm not Elon Musk.
so yeah, don't. No, you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, okay.
What if I did it?
Because I feel like
Stop breaking the damn law.
if I'm
all
in
right,
trouble and they're like, "Get me the video from your car," I'll be like, "Oh,
What video?
Yeah, but I'll be
I'm
like,
gonna
what car?
I'm gonna-
They'll be like, give us your Tesla video. I was like, I've never had a Tesla.
And
Are
I
you
don't-
crazy? I'm a GTI guy through and through. VW for life, son.
I don't know how to actually go in the software and delete it, so I'll just start hammering it.
Yeah, just start punching the
Yeah, I'll
screen.
set it on fire. Just try to get rid of it. Anyway, Injured on the Go, just call Mo. The DeWitt Law Firm.
God, we always end on a bad one.
JustCallMo.com. Thanks so much, Mo. We appreciate it. And thanks for being our brand new studio
Yeah,
sponsor.
man.
Yeah, and the studio mo.
We got
Studio Mo?
Studio Mo.
Studio Mo.
Well, we're not gonna do that. We
Nah,
have
we
the
can't
Just
do it.
Call Mo Injured on the Go Just Call Mo Studio. We have a nice graphic coming that we're gonna install. I'm excited about it. It's gonna look
Yeah,
nice.
no, it's awesome. We appreciate it, and we'll be right back.
All right, that's funny. Thank you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week.
You as well.
Where's that go, Sammy?
That is Wednesday 3.
Wednesday.
Oh, 3.
3. Oh, we have 1 and 2 done. All right. And always good seeing Forrest. See you guys too. You have a good week too, man. The weather out there is ridiculously good.
It is nice.
Yeah, it is
outside.
really nice. Oh, my allergies been going
The
crazy.
chat room
Yeah,
wants
my
to compliment on how good you look.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody's saying you look very svelte and healthy.
I had 2 slices of pizza and 3 cookies for breakfast.
That sounds awesome.
Oh my God! I can't do that. I'm not gonna look good. Yeah, everybody's saying you look
In a
great.
couple months, it'll all be downhill.
Oh, somebody said they're semi-creeping on me. That chat room's a little spicy today,
Oh
man.
my god.
Yeah, they're. He had. Oh, they didn't hear. He had cookies and pizza for breakfast, guys.
Yep.
Healthy diet.
Yeah, but he looks good. Maybe I need cookies and pizza.
Ooh, that's good. Fascinio.
What'd he say?
Fish. Studio. We should do that.
Whoa. There's a guy and I know his name. Injured on the go.
Concrete Toad, I
Who's
think you
to
probably
blame?
could.
Studio Mo.
Like Mo says, you can sue anybody.
I need to have her now. Good. If I sail away. Studio. Studio, right? It's a girl's name?
Studio?
Studio.
Whose name is Studio?
The girl that Phil Collins is singing about. Let's talk about it.
Her name is
Studio.
Studio? Is it Sue? Dio?
I don't think it's Sue
Studio.
Sue Studio?
Studio.
Is her name Studio or is it Studio? I thought it was just Studio.
There's a girl that's been on my mind all the time. Studio.
Yeah.
Studio?
Sussudio.
Whoa. Give me. I want to have her now. Feels so
stupid.
good if I just sail away.
I think it was her name's probably Sue, and he was like scatting, and he said Studio.
Studio. Her name was Studio.
According to the Wikipedia, it says it doesn't actually have a particular meaning. It was something Phil Collins made up. The song itself is about a crush he had on a girl at school.
Hey, we're gonna do a little studio radio. Radio. All right, you want to bring us back? Where's this going?
Yeah.
Right after that?
Wednesday 4.
So we need 13.
13. That's perfect. Studio it is. 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. A couple things. Science on Tap, January 21st. Sofa and Suds, January 22nd. Sam will be at the Solar Bears game, January 26th. And the Florida Smash Beer Fest is January 28th.
Man.
That's hosted by Hourglass.
So we got Beer Fest 21st, Sofa and Suds free event, the reschedule in Sanford the following day. Then on the 26th, you can go see Sam at Solar Bears, and then another Beer Fest on the 28th.
Yes.
The Hourglass
Correct.
Florida Smash Beer Festival, all to benefit A Spoonful of Hope.
Yeah.
A lot of beer fest going on, man.
Yeah,
It's not helping my waistline at all. Yesterday did not help my waistline going and drinking Deadwords Brewing.
Whoa,
that
they
place.
got a nice
Holy
brewery.
crap. That is a nice little shop.
It is.
That is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good stop. And some of those, that was a rough afternoon. Oh man,
Yeah.
it was bad.
I didn't tell Chris
Did you
all
work
that.
out yesterday?
I got into traffic on I-4, and I was going 4 miles an hour.
And you realized you were drunk,
Uh-oh.
and you're like, I shouldn't be drunk in traffic, and I'm not like Dan's car. It'll drive me home.
And then I couldn't make it in time, so I had to reschedule.
Oh, I'm sorry about it. So we were. I said I started singing, or Sam. Why did we
It was
start?
in the chat. Someone said that we should do. Now I done messed it up. Studimo.
Yes,
Right.
yeah,
Studimo.
Yeah, about the
For
song
the
Studio.
studio, yeah.
And then Tom, you always do this with songs. You'll be like, what is that? Studio. And I'm like, Studio. Yeah, it's a Phil Collins song. Studio. I used to love it as a kid because one of my favorite albums as a kid growing up, I don't think I've ever talked about this, was Phil Collins' No Jacket Required. That is a gosh darn good album. You got Studio, you got I Don't Want to Know, One More Night,
but Daniel,
Don't Lose My Numbers on there.
You said the woman that he's talking about is named Sue Studio.
No, Sam said that.
Oh.
I always thought, this is just what I thought. I always thought it was a girl named Studio. And then you ask, whose name is Studio? Because you're a little racist. And you're like, there's no way. That ain't a white name.
No, I've never even heard of
There's plenty
Studio.
of names we've never heard.
I know, but that's odd to me, right? Because we're around so many different people.
I heard, see, up to this point, I would have had one of those Mandela effects because I would have told you guys, yeah, of course there's people named Studio. There's a song called Studio. That's what I would have said.
Never
but then
heard
Sam
Studio.
said it was
It's called
Sue Studio.
Yeah, it's Sue Studio.
But the name.
And I assumed that the girl was Sue, and he was like scatting and said Studio.
The name of the song though is
Studio.
Studio, but
Yeah.
it's here. Just listen. It's got the badass '80s synth.
Man, I do like some good Phil Collins.
I don't know what that is. What rhythm is that? It's like a pad, right?
Yeah, for sure, drum machine.
It's awesome though. You like that, don't you? You'll never be able to hear this again without hearing me go. Okay, they're in this song.
good.
I'm also going to point out something. My memory's working. They're in the second verse of the song, and I have to play it for you. He goes, "There's a girl that's been on that," and he does that line, that na 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 na, and I think she loves me just the same. And then in the background, you'll hear a little. It's like a little note that goes. You'll hear it.
Right.
I'm gonna go to this and play it for you. And you're gonna be like, "Oh damn, I never noticed that before." I probably listened to this album in the. Okay, there's a little room beside where my mom would practice organ at Trinity United Methodist Church in DeLand.
All right.
And to the side of the room, there was like a little music library for all this Christian music, and they'd have all these different hymnals and stuff in there. But it was basically the room that my mom would tell me, "Go in there and and listen to your Walkman and shut up," like that sort of thing, while she went and played her music.
Imagine if you had a phone you could play video games on.
No, you know what I had to do? You know what I had to do? I had to walk around with my Walkman just playing Phil Collins, No Jacket Required, looking at dusty books, digging into things, getting into stuff I shouldn't, had no opening drawers.
That's got to be better for your mind than just getting on YouTube or one of these stupid games that they market. And
I agree with you.
Mindlessly
I
playing,
agree
right?
with you. I'm hitting the dumb old man
Yes
button.
or no?
Yes.
Or are we saying that because that's what we did?
No, because you are using your mind to figure out. Yeah, I'm using my imagination. Is there a ghost here? I'm listening to the music. Music is good for you. I'm singing the song. Yeah. So anyway, here we're gonna look for this sound. This is the. Okay, hold on. We're going through it. Okay, there's the chorus. Okay, here we go. Listen. Did you hear it? Right there. Listen for it right here. No, right here. Somebody goes, why does somebody go, it's bothered me since I was probably 12. Why on the song by Phil Collins, Susudio, does somebody go,
It's like a wacky sound effect. The producer added, right?
And it's in the same key as the horns. I know what the synthetic horns are. Here, one more time.
Sounds like a smart like someone throwing a digital tomato.
That's it. That's gotta be it.
It's digital tomato.
It's a digital tomato. You figured it out. It took me all this time. It took me 30 years. I was 12 to 40. Like 40. It took me 33 years to figure out that this was a Phil Collins digital. He was throwing a digital tomato. It makes sense.
All those 80s. I mean, it's not gonna age. It hasn't aged well. Like it's sounds
catchy.
dated.
People like it though.
It sounds old. Like,
well, people like it. Those synths, all that, like, all the original, like, 808 sound effects and all that, like, gated drums where your snare had so much of a gate on it that it would roll up. It'd be like,
yeah.
That's, like, how the snares were. It's like, oh, my God. It's all coming back.
It's a trend. It's not like classic. It doesn't hold on. There's some songs that it's like, all right, even though this was made in the 60s, it still holds up because it's just a classic song. This is just a
where are we at with
cent.
Phil? Because I want to see him. He's on my legendary list. I had like Billy Joel, Elton John, Celine Dion. I've got some people that Diana Ross was on there, but I've seen Diana Ross like 5 times. But Phil Collins is on there, never seen him. Where are we at with him? Is he a miserable old bastard, or is he all right?
I think so.
I thought he got a little
be old as hell.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think he can play drums anymore, but he
deaf,
can still
right?
sing. No, he might be deaf. A lot of those guys go deaf. I know Brian Johnson from AC/DC's deaf, and I know Huey Lewis. I believe Huey Lewis is deaf.
I thought Collins was going deaf a while ago.
He could, but I know he can't drum. I think it's his hands. I don't think it's his voice or anything.
He's 71.
Ooh, that's old.
Not that bad. I thought he would be older than that for whatever reason. But I guess.
But I mean, like that guy.
Yeah, in 2000, Phil Collins developed a sudden deafness in one ear.
Well, one ear, you can still sing with one ear. I mean, like
by 2023, you might be completely deaf.
Yeah, 23 years ago.
I don't know. I know he was touring. I want to say he was touring back when Butler was working here. I thought
2019 he was playing.
We talked about it because he did like. I think he was doing a final run of shows, and I don't think I was able to get tickets.
Because I think once you amass a certain following and have a name and a certain celebrity, you could put together a show and then have the show basically support you, where you're not doing much, you're having backing tracks, and then you have a professional band, and like so as long as you can get out there and mouth the words and kind of get through it. that's all they, the people are there just to see you one last time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you could put together a tour that makes you a couple $1,000,000, and that,
I will.
So he almost fully deafened in his left ear in 2000, and then he went on tour in 2007 with a Genesis reunion tour, where he dislocated a vertebrae in his neck, and that caused nerve damage to his hands.
Yeah,
so he has both.
Yeah, he's in rough shape. I will say that I have seen the two of the biggies that I just like to sing myself, and like two of my, I wouldn't say they're musical influences of mine, but there's certainly people that I always gravitated to when I was younger and I really liked, were Billy Joel and Elton John. I just always liked them. I always liked their music. But I will say, in seeing Billy Joel and both seeing Elton John, that Billy Joel to me is the quintessential way, way, way better concert. Elton John was okay, but it seemed like you weren't getting full Elton. It seemed like you were getting an old version of Elton. Whereas Billy Joel, like, you were there for Billy Joel. He had like energy for days. He was like cutting up. He was like,
he's younger though, right?
He is younger, I believe. He had showmanship though. Like he'd make jokes. There was a comedy aspect to his show. He was like, it didn't seem like he was taking himself seriously.
They're only 2 years apart.
And it was laid back. It was kind of laid back. Whereas Elton, the vibe was way different. It was a lot more serious, and it just wasn't as good. So I definitely want to see Billy Joel again. I don't need to see Elton John again.
Elton John more famous, obviously.
Yeah, way bigger star.
So maybe that he's not gonna try as hard, or just
what is that?
At the age,
Phoning it in, right?
It did seem like
He knows he's got the name. He knows he's gonna have the draw.
I don't want to say that, but it was like one of the last concerts. I brought Mom to it. It was the last time we went to see like a big show. It was like 5 years ago or so, and it just wasn't. It wasn't bad. But we did leave a little early because it wasn't great, But that Billy Joel, and plus it was New Year's Eve. Rufus Wainwright opened for it. Like, everything on that New Year's Eve show was great. That's probably my favorite music show I've ever seen, is that Billy Joel New Year's show. That was amazing.
It was good.
Every song he played was a hit. And then we were here for this. He brought out Brian Johnson from AC/DC before he was deaf and had him sing Rock You All Night Long.
Yep, yeah.
Or they did like a medley of AC/DC tunes or something. It was weird that we got all that night. But anyway.
Is Elton John still doing any touring?
He had like 3 farewell tours, so I don't know.
I think he's closing it out right now. I think it's closing out right now. Like, these should be.
Do any new thing with like Britney? Because that,
He did that song.
Yeah.
But that's just a reimagined version of his old song.
I liked it, though. He sings way back in his body now because he's old.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive that someone
impressive.
even that old can still get, because touring.
He does have some UK shows coming up.
How many tiny little wigs, those little red orange wigs, how many has he got?
A lot.
I mean,
is that real now?
Think of your like 70-year-old relatives and how they get around. Some better than others. Like
right.
But it's like that's taxing on your body. Like even like the grind of a
the
tour,
travel will kill you.
You get even though you have money and there's luxury involved, it's still like rehearsals, performance. That takes a lot out of you. It's a night. You're 70 and you're performing at 10 p.m. at night. There's been the joke that Brady performs less well at night games, especially on the West Coast and stuff, because it's like beyond his like biological clock.
It's not his ideal living time. Yeah,
at 45 years old, you're so regimented with your schedule and stuff. It's to be able to compete at that level that you start getting out of that. You can't adapt as well when you're young, right? Imagine you're 70 years old, you're performing at 10 o'clock at night. That's why these guys or women faint sometimes on stage.
Yeah,
like, there's too much for them.
Yeah.
Like,
it is a lot.
I mean,
the lights, the heat, the costume changes.
Think about it. Even I was listening to The Undertaker on a podcast on TikTok, and he was just talking about like
I got diarrhea.
The amount of work they used to do in the 90s and like 275 dates a year, and he's like. And it's never really been put like this to me, where I was like, oh yeah, it's not even about like the wrestling itself. It's about the travel, the rehearsal, the then you perform that night, then you stay in this hotel, then you go to the next place and the performance.
All the while trying to get food and sleep and
work out. You have to work out to maintain your body. So you're doing all this stuff on the road, and then it's just time after time.
Sounds miserable.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's like, why would you do this?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I mean, those guys love it. But,
I mean, I think if you get top tier, you would say it's worth it. And if you don't, you'd be like, probably not.
Yeah.
Unless
Just
you're
like anything.
really, really passionate about it.
Yeah, unless you love it. You're right. Unless it's like your true love.
Again, then you're looking at someone like Mr. Beast, and you're there, Undertaker, and there's like,
Oh,
you're worth the
man.
same.
I
And you're
know.
like, man, this guy's schedule compared to what I had to do.
He's had an army of people that just set up things, and he just screams at it.
Yeah,
And what am I doing? Why am I guess it does make you consider, why am I doing this?
Well, now in retrospect, I mean, but
We're
back
getting
in the
more of that
90s
with sports stars too. Like younger sports stars
Yeah,
are
they're
bowing out
retiring,
earlier because they're just like, why am I doing this? I did what I needed to do. I'm not going to get killed. I made millions. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Let's leave while I still have my health.
You need to read that Andrew Luck article that came out last week where they go fishing with him and they talk about the breakdown of him leaving and his mentality and like what he's doing now.
Although he's doing, I've heard criticism on other podcasts, and we should probably go to break.
Yeah,
right?
we
Let's
gotta
talk
go to
about
break.
Andrew
No,
Luck.
we gotta
and
get
everything.
outta here.
Oh yeah, we do. Bye. We should talk about the Andrew Luck thing because,
I'd love to hear the criticism.
well, the criticism is being like Andrew Luck should just stick with like this is better for me, instead of start trying to nitpick certain things that were bad because it doesn't compare to the general public's perception of bad. You see what I'm saying? It's like you can't win when you're like, I had to do these things, and when you have some fucking guy that works 70 hours hard labor a week, hear that he doesn't feel sorry for you.
It doesn't land correctly.
Yeah.
Where are we going now?
Because there were some things like he didn't want to be the leader they were trying to make him be, and like certain things, and even when you complain about getting hit all the time and stuff, it's like, man, it doesn't. People can't relate to it, or they're like, well, you're a millionaire, I'll do it. I'll cut my legs off. Like people are in bad situations, so it's easier just to be like, I bowed out. This wasn't good for my lifestyle. But that's what media does. They start prodding into well, tell us what was bad about it. You start explaining, and then people are like,
when you
that's
itemize
nothing.
it, when you itemize it, it looks wrong. But you're right. When you put things back on feelings and just be like, I was going crazy.
Yeah, and it's to him personally. Right. So, but then, and no matter what, the better thing to do is he should have never come back.
Just stay quiet.
Fade off into
and you
the sunset.
don't owe anybody a detailed reason of why you left.
But people is a good story.
It is a good story.
And
I think I do feel like after reading parts of it, he wants to help people that do have mental issues, and he does want to, help that. But you're right. Sometimes it's better just to shut up, go away.
Well, just say that. Don't complain about anything that was happening to you. Just say it wasn't.
Which one do we need here? Sorry. What are we doing?
We don't really need.
You don't really need anything.
Who's our next guest?
Not till 12. So we got a whole almost hour until we talk to the unicycle guy.
Oh, early lunch. Come back at noon.
We can either do that or
we can record right now.
Record now, then do a small segment with him, and then go to lunch at like 12:30. But we will have to come back. We have another guest at 1. So it's going to either be a tight lunch.
Let's do early lunch because we don't need.
We're just sliding it back an hour, and then everything else will just start back up at noon if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
All right, guys. Early lunch. We'll see you guys a little